this is your friend Darren Iman, the master of shenanigans, and welcome to the 3-card Monte tutorial. It's my goal to make this the most in-depth 3-card Monte tutorial on the internet. Having performed as a magician professionally for over 20 years, I've always been much more interested in the cheating mechanics, specifically with the deck of cards, than I was with sleight of hand moves that are used in Magic. That whole world of the con men has always really fascinated me. And, a confession as an alcoholic stumbling around, crashing around Montreal for about 15 years, I actually lived as a con man for a little while. That's not a boast. That is admission of a character defect. If I'm going to truly embrace the fact that I'm sober now, I can't pretend that those years didn't exist. So let me, show you how I used to perform this trick, but also go into the psychology, the moves, everything. I can tell you that there really isn't a lot about the 3-card Monte out there, a lot of information. That is to say, comparatively speaking. Now, there is quite a bit out there about the 3-card Monte, don't get me wrong, but as a guy who's really into Magic, who's been performing Magic professionally for over 20 years, I've read just about every book I could get my hands on, for instance, in card Magic. All the main ones I've read and reread and essentially memorized, and in those books there really isn't that much information about the 3-card Monte. In The Expert at the Card Table by Erdnase, which is largely considered to be the Bible of card cheating, I've got that book practically memorized. They don't really cover the 3-card Monte. In my favorite film involving card cheating, Shade, with Stuart Townsend, highly recommended. If anyone's got any interest in cards whatsoever, go see that movie. Again, the 3-card Monte isn't really covered. So despite the fact that there are other videos on YouTube covering the 3-card Monte, I want to get into this as deeply as I possibly can, really give you everything that there is to know about this. Now, brief disclaimer, I have to do this. If you're watching this and you decide that, okay, great, now I'm going to go out on the street and I'm going to perform this, please be advised that you are engaged in illegal activity. This is an unlicensed gambling game that you're going to be running. And, aside from the morality of going out and essentially stealing money from people, you could end up in a lot of trouble. So this is for entertainment purposes only. Card selection. You'll notice that I picked cards that have the pattern extending all the way to the edge of the card, all the way around the perimeter. By means of comparison, if I show you sort of a bicycle deck, you'll see that it is a white border. These are to be avoided. We want to have as bewildering a pattern as possible to fool the eye. So these I just picked up at a Dollarama. Now I grabbed 2 jokers and a queen, which is what is normally used. The joker is simply because every deck has 2, and a queen, just by tradition, oftentimes this trick is called Find the Lady. But this can be used with any 3 cards, business cards. Interesting fact, when I used to perform 3-card Monte out on the street and in pubs and out in public, I would always use beer coasters just because the wind would never blow them away. And hey, if you're watching this and you want to go to your local pub and try performing the 3-card Monte with beer coasters to see if you can score yourself a free pint of beer, I say go for it, because what is life without shenanigans? Pretty boring, I say. Now, the second thing we're going to do is we're going to lay all 3 cards on top of each other. I've done this already, but just to show you, we put a bend in them. This makes them easier to pick up. And then the other thing that I've done, which you can't really tell, and I'm going to get into a lot more later, is I bent the corners, secretly upturned the corners. And then when I remove the cards, I can restore this bend, and because of the pattern, it's basically imperceptible. So let's get right into it. First, I'm going to show you a performance of the 3-card Monte. It's a very, very simple game. All I'm going to do is throw the cards, and you have to find the lady. We throw them down onto the mat, we move them around. If you pick the center, you win. Of course, when I want you to lose, it's really quite simple. All I have to do is ensure that when you pick the center, you lose. It's really that easy. Well, the secret move here is known as the hype. And let's really get into that. Let's break that down. So the way this works is I'm always going to be releasing the bottom card, which is the queen, until I perform the hype. And when I pick, I'm right-handed, so I'll just use my right hand, but this can be done with either hand. I'm going to be holding the joker with my middle finger and my thumb. Now when I go to pick up the queen, I'm going to grab the queen with my ring finger and my thumb. Now normally these would be held close together, but I'll really stretch them apart so you can see. And so now when I want to release the queen, which is what you expect me to do, I'm going to release with my ring finger. However, by performing that same motion, if I release with the middle finger, the top card comes down. So you end up following the wrong card, thinking this is a queen, and you follow it all the way, and when it comes time to turn it over, you've been following the wrong card the entire time. And that's the hype. It's really that simple. So the 3-card Monte is actually, in terms of sleight of hand, is not complicated. You should be able to practice this for about a half an hour, and I guarantee you you'll get it. It's not so much the difficult sleight of hand nature of the 3-card Monte that makes it so incredible. It's the psychology behind it. It's the methods that are used to try and get your money, and that's what I really want to concentrate on. So take a minute here, you can pause the video, go out and practice that if you really want to learn. So what I used to do, and what is very common out there, is there are 5 methods to get the money from the sucker. Now in this case, you would be the sucker. So I'm out on the street, I've got an upturned, I've got an upturned cardboard box or an umbrella or just whatever's lying around, and I'm just out here and I'm playing, hey, would you like to play? Now if you come by, be warned that you are stepping into a den of thieves. Everybody that you see standing around you that you think are just idle passerby, chances are that most, if not all of them, are actually in on this, and we're going to be divvying up the money later. In fact, a very common practice doesn't involve the cards at all. I might say to you, would you like to play? And if you say no, I would say, oh, you probably don't even have any money anyway. That's a psychological cue that inadvertently and subconsciously your hand will immediately go and pat your wallet or pat wherever it is you keep your money. And what you've done is you just identified to everybody standing around where you keep your valuables. You probably won't make it a block before you're mugged. But there are 5 ways that I'm going to use to get the money of the sucker. So the first way is for me to say, okay, I'll tell you what, just for fun, just no money, just for fun. All you got to do is find the lady. Find the lady. No money, no money. Where's the lady? Exactly. See, you would have won. Would you like to try it with money now? Now, the psychology behind this is self-explanatory. The whole idea is show them how easy it is. See, you would have won. Go ahead and play. If the sucker puts his money down, of course you perform the hype. You're going to win. It's that simple. The second method is if the sucker still says, no, I'm not going to play, I'm just going to watch. Okay, no problem. In comes a gentleman, usually a fairly big guy because he doubles as security in case things go south. But we'll call him John for the interim here. So John's job is to consistently lose. So, okay, so you're watching. No worries, I'm just playing this guy. Here it is, sir. Very, very simple game. Follow the queen. Where's the queen? Now, obviously, you saw that it's in the middle. John's going to go over here. And I'm going to say, sorry, I'm going to take his money. Now, 2 things are going to happen. A, you're going to think this guy's an idiot. And B, which is much, 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 much infinitely worse, is you're going to think, wow, I'm really smart. Or wow, I'm really good. Or wow, my hand-eye coordination must be amazing. All those years of Nintendo have paid off. And this is the bread and butter for the con man, is if I come across someone with a lot of hubris who thinks that he's smarter than me, I'm going to take him for everything that he's worth. This is the nail in the coffin for the sucker. So at this point, you see him always losing. You decide, okay, I'm going to give it a try. I perform the hype. You guessed it. I get your money. That's 2 down. 3 to go. Number 3, if you're still not betting, in comes the beautiful woman, the honeypot, as we like to call them. Now, her job is to win. We've got John, who's always losing, the beautiful woman who's always winning. You're watching. I'm essentially taking his money and giving it to her. Now, eventually, I'm going to say to you, again, you probably figured out the formula by now. Would you like to play? You still say no. Okay, 3 down. Number 4, the woman is going to turn to you after I tell her, look, I'm not playing you anymore. I'm done. You're taking all my money. I'm done. You're too good at this. Please, I'm not playing you anymore. She turns around. She takes you aside. I don't notice any of this, of course. Wink, wink. This wasn't pre-planned in any way. And she tells you, hey, can you do me a favor? And she hands you some money. Maybe it's just 20 bucks. And says, he's not letting me play anymore, but like this guy's just giving money away. It's really easy. Can you just do me a favor? Lay the bet for me. Please, please, please. You come in, you lay the bet. I pretend that, of course, I never noticed any of this. And I'm like, oh, finally, you'd like to play. Okay, here we go. 20 bucks. All right, all you got to do is find the queen. Really, really easy game. Where's the queen? You pick over here. You pick correctly. I'll give you 40 bucks if we're playing double or nothing. Of course, now you have to turn around and give the money back to her. It's not your money, but now you have a taste of what it feels like to win. You had the money in your hand. Now you're hooked. If you're still not going to bet, it's at this point that I know that I'm wasting my time. I'm going to tell you, look, you've been standing there all day. If you're gonna stay, you gotta play. If not, please move and let someone else come in. I'm gonna just shift all of my attention to the next sucker down the line. I know we're not going to get you. But if you play, guess what? I perform the hype, I get the money. Now, I did say that there was 5, and I only covered 4. Now, the 5th method is really just an escape plan. And the way this works is that the gentleman here, who's always been losing, his job is to A, provide security, is B, to lose, and C, to consistently watch to see if I touch my nose. You can't really see this because I'm off camera, but finger comes up, scratches my nose as if I have an itch. He's been waiting all day for me to do that. The second that he sees me scratch my nose, he makes his moves. If by some miracle you guess correctly, and I say, go ahead, follow the lady, perform the hype, retain the queen over here, and I toss these around. If you pick this card, what am I going to do? I don't want to pay you. How do I get out of this? This card, are you sure? And reach up and scratch my nose. Second I do that, John comes in, and let's say you've put down $20. He's gonna say, whoa, wait, I want 50 on this card. If you put down 50, he's gonna come in and say, whoa, wait, I want 100 on this card. What I do now is I say, oh, I'm sorry, the only one bet at a time, biggest bet stays. I hand you back your money. I play him, I say, sorry, you lost, I take it, and of course I just meet him later and we square up. But now I know that you're wise, so now I know definitely that I don't want to have anything to do with you. So if you win, you're going to break even, and if you lose, of course we're going to take your money. Anyone that tells you that they've won money on the 3-card Monte is either lying or they were in on it. So now that you think that you're smart and you think, okay, I've watched all of this, now I really know how it's done, now I'm going to go out onto the street, I'm going to find a guy, yeah, thank you for the warning, but I'm smart enough, I'm capable enough, I'm going to go out, I'm going to find someone playing 3-card Monte, I'm going to take all their money. You really think you're wise. Hey, diddle diddle, the queen is in the middle. This is the bee, this is the honey. If you find the queen, you get the money, and I can guarantee you it is not as easy as you thought. Now there is one final thing to cover, and that is the mysterious bend on the corner. This is a fairly new invention. I don't know who to credit for this, but someone who came up with this is absolutely brilliant, and the whole idea here is that the cards are pre-bent, and as I'm playing, this is what I refer to as like a Hail Mary. This is the end of the day. I've been playing 3-card Monte all day out on the street corner. I'm dodging cops. I'm playing for nickels and dimes. I really want to go for just a big score, get a bunch of money, and go home. This is what I would pull out of my repertoire. So the idea here is that as I'm playing 3-card Monte, John or whoever it is comes over, picks up one of these cards, and angrily throws it onto the floor and says, let's see you play with 2 cards. Okay, fine. As I turn around and I go and I pick up this card off the floor and I place it down, he is going to turn up the corner on one of the cards. I come back, there's a bunch of people standing around watching, they've all seen him do this, and miraculously, I don't notice the bend in the card. I'm playing my friend here, I say, okay, let's make sure the jacks are the same way. Joker, sorry. I say, okay, here you go, follow the card. Follow the card, follow the card, where is it? Now he's going to pick the middle, the bent card. I'm going to act surprised, like, wow, you lost every time before. I guess you're really paying attention now. And yeah, you're right, and I pay him his money. This goes on, he consistently wins because he's just picking the bent card, and I keep paying his money. Now hopefully, you probably already guessed this, but hopefully, now someone is going to say, wow, he doesn't notice a bent card. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You're going to take whatever you have. If you're a tourist, pull out all your traveler's checks. I'm giving away money. I'd never noticed that bent card. Okay, here we go. So, oh, you would like to play. You're getting, wow, that much money. Okay, I think I have enough to cover it. Okay, very, very simple. Here we go. Pick the card. Where do you think it is? You pick the bent corner. You lose. I take your money. I'm out. The way this works, as you already know, the cards are pre-bent. The queen, when I go to pick it up, I take my ring finger, I push the bend down. When I go to pick up the other card, I take my ring finger, I pull the bend up. It takes a bit of practice, but bam, it is a convincer. So the reason why this is like the Hail Mary, the last trick I'm going to do, is because at this point you're essentially going to know that you've been conned. How did one corner, bent corner, miraculously shift from one card to the next? But before you have time to process that, I'm going to either A, notice like, oh look, I'm going to say, hey, wait a minute, this corner is bent. Hey, were you... No, if you guys are cheating, I'm not going to play. And I leave. Or even better, my lookout yells, cops! And I grab everything and I just run, and we all run. You're not going to follow me because A, there's more of us than there is of you, and B, you did something illegal yourself. You were involved in an unlicensed gambling game. So we run off, we got your money, that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been the most in-depth tutorial that I can give on the 3-card Monte. Really do practice this, really have fun with it. There are all kinds of great tutorials out there that involve funny little magic tricks that can be done using the same principle, using the same moves, that I highly suggest you watch. A lot of fun. Once you learn the moves, you can kind of expand on it. But I did want to add a bonus video to this tutorial. And as I mentioned, I no longer work as a con man. I'm an honest magician, or as James Randi would say, an honest liar. And I wanted to show you, using this principle, a cool little card trick just as a fun way to end the video. As a magician on stage, I wouldn't really perform card magic because people at the back can't really see, they're too small. But if a restaurant hires me and I'm going around from table to table, I'll generally always pull this out just because I love the Monte so much. It's such a great routine. Hello everyone, I am Darren Iman, the master of shenanigans. I'm your entertainment for this evening, and I wanted to show you a little card trick based on the principle of the 3-card Monte. Has anyone here heard of the 3-card Monte? Oh, you have, sir. You know what it is. Okay, for the rest of you, here is my version. I had walked into a bar one time and I saw a man playing the 3-card Monte. I've been performing this trick for a long time, so I thought, hey, here's my chance to get one up on him, make a little bit of money. So he says to me, he says, welcome, sir, have a seat. This is a very easy game. We have the Joker, we have the Joker, and of course we have the lady. Now all you have to do is find the lady and you win. I laid down 20 bucks. I said, sure, double or nothing, I can win 40. Now I know that the lady's on the top, but I was watching this guy's hands, because again, I'm thinking like a magician, not watching his eyes, watching his hands. He did a move which is known as the pass. Now with a full deck of cards, the pass involves taking half the deck from the top, putting it on the bottom. Excuse me, with only 3 cards, it just involves taking the top card, sliding it to the bottom, and squaring up. And all of this is done very fast, of course. But I caught the move. So he says to me, where is the queen? I'm supposed to say the top. I laid down my 20 bucks. I said it's the bottom because I caught him. He says, I'm very sorry, sir. The bottom is a joker. He takes my money. I said, wait a minute, wait a minute. I said, you know what? Because I'm still thinking like a magician. I said, don't shuffle. You never said anything about shuffling. Now I got a 50-50 chance. I said, I want to see the top card. I laid down another 20 bucks. He says, very well. He says, not only will I let you see the top card, I'll push out the bottom card and let you see it there so that you know I'm not cheating. He slides off the top card. It is a joker. I'm down another 20. So this time I said, okay, well, I know I'm going to win my money back. I put down 40 bucks. I said, show me the middle card. He fans them out very fairly, pulls out the middle card, says, I'm very sorry, sir. The middle card is a joker. Now I said to him, I said, wait a minute, you show me the top, the bottom, and the middle, and they're all jokers, so I know that you're cheating. He says, you know what, I don't like being called a cheat. He says, I'll tell you what, lay down 50 bucks. If you pick a joker, you win. So now the odds are incredibly in my favor. I lay down my 50 bucks. I said, show me the bottom card. He does. Very sorry, sir, the bottom card is a queen. I laid down another 50 bucks. I said, show me the top card. He does. He leaves the bottom card poking out so I can see it. Very sorry, sir, the top card is a queen. I said, another 50 bucks. I said, show me the middle card. I'm guaranteed to win. He fans him out very fairly. Pulls out the middle card, it is a queen. So now I said to him, okay, I think I know what you're doing. You show me the top, the bottom, and the middle. At first they're all jokers. Now they're all queens. You must have 6 cards there. He says, no, I only have 3. Here they are, 1, 2, and 3. However, you know what I'm going to do? You seem like a nice person. You know what I like to do? I like to do nice things for nice people. I'm going to turn over 2 of the cards. Now all you have to do is tell me what's left. Is it a joker or a queen? Now, again, I'm thinking like a magician. I know that there are 2 jokers and a queen, so it has to be a joker, so I said queen. What would you have said? Now, it doesn't matter what you would have said because you can never win when you play the 3-card Monte.